Welcome back to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Tuesday, November 19th. If you were just tuning in, we just went over the winners and losers of the NFL in Week 11. Big week for losers, big week for winners, big week for the 72 Dolphins right now. In this segment, we turn our attention over to the power rankings. We have the first half of our Week 12 NFL power rankings hot off the presses for you. But before we get into that, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Tuesday, November 19th. But like I was saying, we have our NFL power rankings here for you. And as it says right there, we have a new number 32 overall team. And I don't think many people will have an issue with this one. Number 32, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're back at the bottom of the league. Mac Jones has now 2 straight times where he can't crack 10 points in a game. That is quite honestly embarrassing. That can't be how it goes for Jacksonville, and it's definitely not what they pictured when they had this season upcoming. I know it's not what I pictured for them. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to have a better season. He's most likely done for the year. It's kind of good to get a reset on them. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the worst team in football right now. At 31, we have the New York Giants. We've talked a lot about them this week. Tommy DeVito, the new starter for the New York Giants, he led a couple of big games for them. Had a little bit of a 3-game winning streak. Maybe he can bring some of that Tommy Cutlets magic back to New York. He just needs to go out there, play his brand of football. He's not going to win a starting job, but right now he's playing to be the backup. Came into the year as the 3rd string for the New York Giants. Now he's the starter, and he'll start the last half of the season. Good for him. Glad he gets another chance. Everyone in New York likes him. I think he deserves another shot. Giants are at 31. At 30, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Oh my God, where to start with this team? Everything is going wrong. The team is falling apart. You have offensive linemen trying to be running backs and fumbling. 2 fumbles in one play, leading to a Texans defensive touchdown. Not the way you want to go. The roof is falling off before the game starts. The owner seems to be going senile right now, and GM, I should point out. This is a team that everything, again, that can go wrong kind of is going wrong. Injuries up the wazoo right now. This is a team that just can't catch a break. And it's about time the Cowboys had a disgusting season like this one. The Cowboys are at number 30. 29, the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a team that has a little bit of positives. You, of course, have rookie phenom tight end Brock Bowers continuing to have huge days. Gardner Minshew likes to find his one receiver. He seemingly has found him in Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, a guy that is going to get fed the football down the stretch of this season. He is going to be that offense. That defense is just atrocious. I'm curious to see what the temperature is on the seat of Antonio Pierce right now in the Raiders organization. I think there's a good chance he gets fired, but he was only hired because the players liked him a bunch, and this was not a season that you expected them to be very good in. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. We will see, though. The Raiders are at 29. 28 goes to the Titans. I'm ready to call it on the Will Levis experience. I don't know about you. I'm ready to call it on Will Levis. I don't think he's got the juice that's needed, and he's definitely playing better than he was pre-injury. There's no doubt in my mind that he's playing better than he was pre-injury. All of that being said, though, he's still not playing great. He's still not sitting there and making all the right reads. This is a Titans team that needs some help offensively. The defense, I think, while it's super banged up, is still playing pretty solid enough. This is a Titans team, bottom of the league for a reason. They're at number 28. 27 is the Bears. The Bears lose another brutal game. They've lost now in probably the 2 most brutal fashions that you possibly can. They had a walk-off field goal all set up this week against hated rival, the Packers, a team they haven't beaten since 2018. 10-0 They're 0-10 against this Packers team. They line up for the kick and it's blocked, much like last week with the Broncos and the Chiefs. Now they haven't won in 11 straight games. They still haven't given the first loss in that series to head coach Matt LaFleur, who's been there for a very, very long time. The Bears also lose on that Hail Mary just a couple of weeks ago, another game that they probably didn't deserve to win, and yet they were in it till the very last second where they lose to Jaden Daniels. The Chicago Bears are attracting misery in all kinds of forms, not something I expected to see this season. The Bears are at 27. 26 go to the Panthers. The vibes are high in Carolina right now. Coming off of a bye week, they've won 2 straight games. They're looking to win 3 straight for the first time since the first 3 weeks of 2021 when they had Sam Darnold at quarterback, who's currently doing his thing over there in Minnesota. They get the Chiefs, probably not going to be easy, but Bryce Young has officially gotten his job back. Eddie Pinheiro, now the most accurate kicker in NFL history. Congrats, Eddie Pinheiro. He's in the center of that picture. This is a Panthers team that doesn't have any expectations. That defense is still really bad, but they've got some young guys, and you can see some potential with this team. Carolina Panthers at 26. 25, it's the Jets. Kind of the opposite of the Panthers. They had expectations. They've got lots of old guys. Everything is going wrong for them. The vibes are down. The Jets have the talent to win games, but all the breaks are not going their way. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the juice like he used to, and I think he's done in New York. Maybe he completes his Brett Favre arc, heads over to Minnesota to finish off his career, try and take back what happened, try and beat the Packers. Make that little checklist like Brett Favre did. Maybe he heads over there now, have a little bit of fun. But the Jets are done. Their season is done, and there's just no optimism around that building. They're at 25. 24. The New England Patriots. The best of the worst is what I like to call this team. Drake May looks incredible. Flashes after flashes after flashes. He has played incredible football. He's a guy that I would think would be in conversations of Rookie of the Year if he had played more games. He came in week 5. He's probably not going to play enough games to overtake a guy like Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels, but still, what he's doing over there in New England is really impressive, and this is a Patriots team that has a lot of hope despite all the losing. They're at number 24. 23 is the Browns. All the losing, none of the hope. Again, we kind of have contrasting teams back to back here, but Jameis Winston is a guy that'll always keep you in it. The Browns defense is not up to snuff here, but the depleted receiving core of the Browns, the deep shots, the big plays, that's there. We get classic Jameis Winston football, and it's a lot of fun to watch. This is a Browns team that's got nothing to lose. They're heading towards the basement this year, and they're ready for it. Browns are at 23. The team that just beat them at 22. How's that for 2 straight wins for new head coach Rizzi? That is a huge game, a huge win for them. Get them off the schneid. The Saints are not out of it in the division race, especially with the Falcons struggling. Now 2 straight losses for them. One of them against the Saints, 2 straight wins for the Saints, one of them coming against the Falcons. They're not done yet. This division is still very much up for grabs, and if the Saints can find a way to get it, that would be one of the major turnarounds in all of sports. Taysom Hill, 3 touchdowns on the ground, almost 150 yards, 50 yards through the air, did throw an interception, but he's doing his Taysom Hill things, being that Swiss Army knife of a football player that we all know he can be, and when he has a game like this, the Saints are extremely dangerous. 21, the Indianapolis Colts. We talked about Anthony Richardson in our winners segment. I'm so glad that we get to see him on the football field. Anthony Richardson back starting for the Colts. They get a massive win. He leads a game-winning drive, has 2 rushing touchdowns, absolutely bowls over a man. He's so much fun to watch. This is a Colts team that's going to play close with just about anybody. The question is, do they have that magic with them to pull off a couple wins straight and find a way into an AFC wildcard spot? At 20, we have the Bengals. This is a team that you look at Joe Burrow, an MVP candidate. Jamar Chase, an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. Trey Hendrickson, a guy who's leading the league in sacks right now. And yet, they only have 4 wins. Nothing is going their way. That defense is atrocious. Oh my God, that defense is awful. Chase Brown really stepped up, especially in this game in the receiving category. He has been a revelation for them offensively. This is a team that is so good offensively that you don't want to count them out. But with the state of that defense and with them falling further and further behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, having suffered 2 losses to the Baltimore Ravens, this is a team that I have a lot of trouble thinking is going to make the playoffs. But they're a team you don't want to let in because they can put up 50 on just about anybody. The Bucs at 19, they had a bye week. It's a tough bye week for them. A couple of teams jumped them this week. They get Mike Evans back. That's going to be huge. They've played a couple of close games without him. Cade Otton's played a huge role. Baker Mayfield's played good football. But now they get Mike Evans back. They look to turn their season around. I think they can do it. I think this is a team that can turn their season around. We will just have to see. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at number 19. And again, not out of that division race because the Falcons just keep losing games. Speaking of those Falcons, they're here. This is a team that has all of the talent. That defense is awful, though, especially the secondary. Not what I expected to say after making a couple of key pickups. It's re-signing A.J. Terrell, one of the best cover corners in football, revamping that safety duo, adding Justin Simmons to Jesse Bates. Those are 2 really big names at safeties. It just has not worked out in the secondary, and the pass rush isn't getting home. So when you have all of that combined, this is a defense that's getting absolutely torched through the air. The Falcons need to be better. Kirk Cousins needs to be more consistent. He just has not been that all season long. 17 is the Seahawks, a walk-off win kind of for them against the division rival San Francisco 49ers, a game that the Seahawks quite frankly had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Geno Smith has been playing really good football. The defense over the last couple weeks is all the way back. It's something we've been waiting on for a while, something they had not quite gotten since the first 3 weeks of the season, but now they're starting to get there. Seahawks looking to go on a little bit of a run here. As long as the defense can keep playing like that, I think they have a shot. Seattle Seahawks at 17 after a massive win against the 49ers. But we're going to take a quick break before we get to the top half of the NFL. When we come back, top 16 spots in the NFL we'll go over here on Sports by GSMC Podcast Network.